on track.
Justin Marks in the Chip Ganassi Racing entry. The winner at Mid-Ohio brings out the first caution in this race. If we can decipher what happened to Justin Marks.
Ooh. Oh, might have got a little bit of a tap right there. But it's hard to tell from that angle. Could have just been, that's a place that it's easy for your car to get loose as you've powered.
48 of Brennan Poole and the 44 of J.J. Yaley. Check this out.
Yeah, Brennan Poole trying to make the pass on the inside, but just carries so much speed in there. Gets loose. I have no idea how these cars, two cars didn't wreck, but they continued on, and they're still passing cars.
Turn one, and the oil starts getting out underneath the rear tires. He's trying to save it and keep it out of the wall, but just got too much speed.
Yeah, one of the teams that we talked about that's run so well. Keep thinking this team can win a race. Certainly not going to happen tonight.
Guys, the car was smoking, and they told Ryan that it was smoking, quote, pretty good. Ryan said, I know, and then he just gave a simple report about...
A lot of people have migrated to the top of the racetrack, but he was way up the racetrack. But here he's on the very bottom, trying to make a pass off turn 4, and just loose off turn 4. That's something that, Steve, you and I have seen many times.
Absolutely.
It's just so little grip on the bottom, trying to accelerate out of there, especially on a long run with worn-out tires.
14 of Tony Stewart with issues on pit road. Take a look at this. We ride along with Chase Elliott.
See right there, the 14 is really far to the right, not really in the middle lane, but the right-hand lane. He checks up to get in his pit box. I don't think Greg Biffle was ready for it. Catches the 14 of the bumper. He was running 19th. The pit crew, luckily, no one got hit. Serviced the car, but lost some track position on this cycle.
Dangerous situation. The 5 car.
Pick up on the left.
Unless something catastrophic happens to the 24 of Chase Elliott, he should be in. But this potentially could be that problem that they did not want to see.
You see right here, the 31 gets down inside the 88, catches him in the corner panel, forces the 88 up into his teammate, the 24. And you see right here, Tony Stewart squeezes through the middle, but that contact must have cut the left front tire down. It took a couple laps, but here he is down the front stretch, past the start-finish line, that white and green car. You see it spark, and that's a pretty decent hit to the right side suspension. And the other concern, Rick, is not only...
You can see Kurt Busch on the outside. He's able to carry so much momentum on the corner exit. The 2 car on the bottom. Oh, 48, trouble.
And Jimmy Johnson, who hadn't come to pit road.
Looks to me like the left front tire is flat, but there looks to be some damage on the left front as well. I don't know if he ran into another car, but it had to hit something to wrinkle up that fender like that. You know, we mentioned he was staying on the racetrack trying to get a yellow. Unfortunately, the plan was not to be the caution.
He was running 10th at the time, as you mentioned, trying to stay out before the caution came out, but now into the wall, and sparks flying from underneath the 48.
You see he's driving on the front straightaway, driving into turn 1 right there, tires down. There's nothing he can do. He's along for the ride. Did a pretty good job of the initial contact in the wall. It wasn't really hard. He was able to, you know, he carried the wall a long time, but he never hit it really hard. So maybe not a lot of damage, and he still hasn't gotten lapped. I mean, you know, he's been able to keep enough speed on the racetrack to keep from getting lapped. So if there's not a lot of damage in the car, he may have caused his own caution and saved himself by hitting the wall, as crazy as that sounds.
I see a lot of splitter being drug off right there. Remember, a few laps back, the 48 and the 43 made a little contact. That damage on the left front tire, I would bet that is what caused that left front flat.
Jeff Gordon was able to win as into the wall. Turn 1 and 2, Paul Menard.
Dive bomb you in the one there. Fired up if you can.
I would have thought, though, when I first saw that, I thought, well, we saw that left rear tire smoking, but you heard the spotter say he dive bombed you getting into 1. That means that most likely there was contact with another car.
And what this does, we just brought this up. Now most of these teams are down to 3 sets of tires, Rick. There's still 135 to go. This decision to come to pit road is going to become more difficult. So we see right here, Paul Menard entering the corner, the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse underneath him. Basically, Paul Menard just comes down. It's kind of a late replay. You'd have to see it earlier on the straightaway, but it looked to me like the 17 was inside the 27.
Back in, stay low, lazy.
It's very similar to what we saw with Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart earlier in the race.
He goes down into the corner, and I think he's going to get a little help.
Yes, I do too. I think 93 was upset.
Yep.
Just turn him around, getting into the corner.
Not the first time we've seen that. It's easy to predict the help. You've seen enough upset drivers. But as we mentioned, all these teams work together, and the list of how many...
Wave around cars making their way by. Oh, hang on to that gas can.
Oof.
Definitely hanging on to the gas can. You can't have equipment leave the pit stall, and he was committed that gas can wasn't going to leave the pit stall.
Yes, he was.
Then he sprayed poor gas on his buddy there, trying to help him pick up the can.
And we're getting ready to have a caution. I see trouble in turn 2.
Yep, up into the wall goes the 46 of Michael Annette, and caution will come out again. So, Steve, this again plays into your theory of, do you have enough tires? Do you have enough sticker tires? To take advantage of them at the end of the race?
Well, the answer is no. No one has enough tires, and that is great because the decisions have to be made. The crew chiefs have to decide. And right now, Denny Hamlin, he still has track position, but the problem is other cars are going to start pitting behind him. It's going to be even more difficult for him to staying out. He knows how quickly Kyle Larson is coming as we see what happened to Michael Annette here entering turn 1. Looks like a flat left front tire straight. That's a hard shot.
And that was my point about Larson. Like, did you really want to use those tires up? Because he's not going to pit this time. He's going to stay out on the racetrack as everybody else comes down pit road.
11 times the pace has been slowed down as the 20 of Matt Kenseth gets into the wall.
Hold on, coming inside, whole field coming inside.
Steve, I've got to ask, is this
hard, you okay, bro?
Because of using scuffed tires or older tires?
This is a 3 or 4 groove racetrack and 3 and 4 wide racing where cars are running into each other. Look at both sides of this 20. There's dents and damage everywhere.
Hard into the wall for Matt Kenseth.
This whole problem started. We saw contact in 3 and 1 and 2 on that restart with a 2-car way off the racetrack, but it started way before that. On the restart, right, to watch Brad Keselowski, see Matt Kenseth on the outside. Look at Brad. He missed a shift right there. The 18 car gets in the back of him. That bunched them all up. Now, as they go in the corner, boom, right there. But it all started on the front straightaway. That damage on the left front fender probably cut that left front tire. That's what caused Kenseth's wreck.
And that's, Rick, that's the point. The point is we talk about a multi-groove racetrack where you see cars, look at them, 3 wide, they're everywhere.
You might have to finish the race on these tires. You might not. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to have to do. Another caution.
47 around. And A.J. Allmendinger. A lot of damage to the right rear. That's the 13th caution record for cautions at Richmond. 15 closing in on that record.
See 3 wide. Clint Boyer on the outside. Contact right there.
Right away, the 23 of David Reagan. Saw a lot of right front damage as he got into the left rear.
3 wide doesn't normally turn out well on these short tracks.
Maybe you see who snuck by, that 88 of Jeff Gordon. We mentioned he pitted under the last caution. We're going to see how he cycles out.
So the Cole Pern interview, he said we're going to put tires on at the last stop, I guess. When's the last stop?
Right.
I mean, exactly. That's what's so hard about this. You have no idea when the last caution's coming out. If you think this is the last caution, what do you do? I mean, when do you pit at this point?
To say, all right.
I got loose right,
If there was a crystal ball, I'd still be down there. Because that would be the magical answer.
Could this be the last caution?
I think this really helps. This short run to the caution is going to help cars like Greg Biffle, Jimmy Johnson, who just came to put on tires, Clint Boyer back at 24th. I know they're a long ways, but every one of these cautions is going to try to put the stress on the leaders. And another big crash on the backstretch, Rick.
Man, and right up in front of more traffic.
behind you in 3.
Ryan Newman's in it.
David Reagan is in it.
Well,
Fire.
And Chris Buescher was in it as well.
Chris Buescher involved. The 83 of Dylan Lupton up on top of the 31. The Fire underneath the hood of the 23. And the 14 of Tony Stewart.
So he's ripped the whole lines out of the 14.
Stop right here, they said.
The 31 and the 14. There's some contact right here heading into turn 1. The 31 accelerates, gets inside the 14 as they enter the backstretch.
Yeah, we've seen this several times. The cars haven't, getting into turn 1, and the 14 just kept coming down on the 31 on the back straightaway. Wasn't happy maybe with what went on in turn 1, and
big impact by the 23, and you see right there Chris Buescher kind of bounces between them. Yeah. Luckily gets through, but that was a really big impact for the 23 of David Reagan. It was great to see him climb out. This would be a great view of it, Jeff.
Outside 14. 19 straight back, looking inside tight, inside tight, inside tight. We got wrecked hard right here, got wrecked hard.
Carl Edwards in the 19 coming up the racetrack.
I mean, if you felt like that the 14 came down on the 31 getting into turn 1, so the 23 really into the back of the 31 hard.
So unfortunate for David Reagan, but what this in essence does is it clinches the chase spot for Chris Buescher. Denny Hamlin started the season off.
Big accident into turn 3. The 7 makes hard contact with 2 to go, and we're going to go into overtime.
Regan Smith into the wall. That means Denny Hamlin will have to fight for this one. Casey Kane, freshest tires, 4th.
Jamie McMurray was a half of a lap away till this caution happened of being in the chase. No chance of a new winner coming in. So what will all these guys do now?
See the 7 just lose it. I can't tell if the left rear tire is down or if he just spins out on corner entry, but hard impact. You see how much damage to the car.
Has chosen the inside line. Martin Truex Jr. on the outside. We're into overtime.
Denny Hamlin, great restart.
Very aggressive behind him. Denny Hamlin checking out, though. Hamlin reaches the overtime line, and they spin behind him.
But it stays caution so far.
Caution has not come out yet.
And the 42 of Kyle Larson is all the way up to the 4th position. Is there enough time for him to run down